Hello, my good people. It's your boy QP. Nerds rule the world here with my pal from Screen Comment, Film Threat, the movie review. Anthony Francis, how are you, sir?
Doing well yourself?
I'm good, man. Now that I'm talking to movies to escape from our world, our existence right now,
Yes.
because we are all going through it in 2025. So let's escape. Let's get into some entertainment, man. And we got kind of a one that surprised us both. I know. As of this recording, we had screened it the night before, so I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about it. We did a little bit afterward, but we have a film from A24 dropping February 7th. Called Parthenope, if I'm pronouncing that right. When I was talking to my guys over on WTOP, they're like trying to say it with I guess that Italian gravitas. So
Parthenope, man.
Parthenope, are we saying it right, man?
Parthenope is all I know. We
All
can
right. Well,
enunciate however we'd like.
I guess it just that accent just that emphasis I think really just kind of grabs you. So shout out
Yeah.
to Parthenope. We're gonna check out the trailer. And then
Bellissimo.
my man, yes, bellissimo. And then me and my man Anthony are gonna get all into it. So let's watch the trailer together for A24's Parthenope. Here we go.
Ma se io avessi 40 anni meno, tu mi sposeresti?
Se io avessi 40 anni di più, lei mi sposerebbe?
Sì, proprio una colpa più.
Such a great comeback. He has all the best comebacks.
I like that.
Are you aware of the disruption your beauty causes?
I'm starting to suspect something.
Non è innamorata di te.
Io sì, invece, da tutta la vita.
May I join you?
No,
Why not?
because I don't want to steal 1 minute of your youth from you.
I love that line, by the way.
That was
Io
a
non
great
so
line.
niente. Ma mi piace tutto.
You can have it all. Without even bad skin.
Sono stata soltanto un amore giovanile.
Older.
E gli amori giovanili non sono serviti a niente.
Dovresti vergognare di quello che hai appena detto.
Io mi chiamo Parthenope, non mi vergogno mai.
Parthenope!
Forse è giunto il momento che lei e sociate l'albergo.
Il mais finiamo tutto qua.
That was good. I like that.
Yeah, super cool. All right. As I said earlier, dropping February 7th, Parthenope. Let's get into it now, man. So that was the trailer. Well, when you first saw the trailer or became aware of this film, Anthony, what were your thoughts? I know you're familiar with the director.
Very quickly, they pushed up the DC release date to the 14th. So,
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Thanks,
yeah.
man.
No worries. Yeah, I love the director. He's never made a bad movie. His least interesting movie I thought was pretty great. The Two Popes, not an exciting subject, but I thought it was great what he did. I was excited for this. We've talked about this before. My two favorite styles of film are Italian and Japanese cinema. I love Italian filmmakers because they're all influenced by the great ones, Fellini and Bertolucci. So they all have that in their movies, especially this guy who makes movies that are very sensual and beautiful to look at. And I was very excited for this. Really, really excited.
Dig it, dig it. For me, it was A24, brother.
And yeah,
A24 for the majority of last year were probably my favorite production company studio with all of their releases last year. So inventive, so different, so fresh, so groundbreaking. Yeah, and as a creative, I feed off of that. So yeah, once I saw A24, somewhat familiar with the writer director Paolo Sorrentino, as you see right there that you had mentioned. I definitely want to go back into his archives, as you mentioned, check out the ones you recommended. So I'm always excited about that, yeah, so all of that is what initially grabbed me. And come on, Ari, we all just watched the trailer. This woman is amazing. She's beautiful, captivating. I can watch a movie of her just moving around for 2.5 hours. I don't have a problem with that. So she grabs your eye. But we'll get into that more. There's more than just beauty, which is what this film talks about. So real briefly, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the cast, the crew, and a little bit about the story, and then Anthony and I will give you our thoughts. So first up, writer director Paolo Sorrentino. Again, check out his body of work. I know Anthony will drop some recommendations later of some of his favorites from Paolo. We have our young Parthenope in Celeste Dalla Porta. And my apologies if I mess up these names. I'm not Italian. I'm Filipino. I'm doing my best. I mean no disrespect. I know I give nothing but love. Playing the adult Parthenope is Stefania Sandrelli. We have Gary Oldman, as you saw there, legendary actor playing John Cheever. Silvia Orlando as Devoto Morota. Luisa Ranieri as Greta Cool. Pepe Lanzetta as Bishop. Isabella Ferrari as Flora Malva, and a host of others. I'm not going to go through the entire list. It takes a village, as we always say here at the NRW, to make a film. So shout out to the entire cast and crew who put in such a great amount of work on this. This film, as you see, follows this young woman, Parthenope, as she grows up in Naples, actually birthed out of the water in a lot of ways. And just her love affair with the city and her tortured soul of growing up and that wanting to be in your hometown, but also wanting to spread your wings, and just life and love and youthfulness and getting older and just all of this and dreams and aspirations. We're going to dig into a lot more of that with our review. But that's really solidly what this story is in a nutshell, is just watching this woman come of age and into herself. And everything that goes along with that. But what I also want to say, and we'll speak on this more as well in the review, is this is a film that loves its home area. I had the honor and pleasure of growing up in Italy. I lived there for 4 years in Sigonella, Sicily, the island at the end of the boot, for 4 years while my dad was in the military. And then I had the honor of visiting Naples, Rome, many areas within Italy, as a person as a member of the U.S. Navy. So I've traveled a lot and spent probably almost a decade in Europe, in Malta, in Cyprus. So this region, these people, these characters, they show a lot of love to this area of the world, and I think it's handled beautifully. There's a lot of stereotypes in there, but it's also very uniquely itself. A lot of those stereotypes are real in a lot of ways, and I'm sure Anthony and I will get into that. But just very profound and I think very beautiful in a lot of ways. And so let's get into that review. After you saw it, I know we shared some initial thoughts coming up out of it. What did it leave you the most, Anthony? And now a little bit less than 24 hours later, what's still sitting with you about Parthenope?
This goes without saying. And by the way, after watching the trailer, I want to buy a cologne or a perfume. It's not a knock, but kind of. The beauty of it all. It was, even though, and we'll get into this, like I said, when we came out of the screening, I wasn't fully intoxicated the way I should have been by everything that was happening until about an hour 15 into the film. But yeah, the beauty of it, the aura of the whole thing. And once we got there, just the profundity of what it was saying about beauty, about life. It's an uneven film for me, but one that I like. But it sticks with you no matter what you think of this. If you hate it, like it, or in the middle, it will stick with you in some manner, mostly visual.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm sorry, Anthony. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, we'll get into it, but I was when I was thinking about the film this morning, I was thinking about her arc, Parthenope's
Yeah,
arc, and where it ends up in the final stretch. And I just thought that was quite beautiful.
I agree with you. After a while, that the same for me. Watching how young, naive, beautiful woman. She knows who she is. She knows she's beautiful, but she also fuck that. I'm very intelligent. I'm more than just my beauty, and we see that, and
Yeah.
her going through life to go above and beyond that, but also utilize her beauty. She knows that
Yeah.
she's beautiful. I'm gonna use it to as a superpower.
Mhm.
And I just think it's beautiful, like you said, just that I love that inner spirit that we see her go on and throughout life. But at first, like you, um, I was while we were sitting at the theater, Anthony was right next to me. I was like, the first 25 minutes, this was like YSL, Yves Saint Laurent is one of the sponsors on this project. It was like, am I watching a perfume commercial? Because
Mhm.
every shot was beautiful, but then after a while, you're like, okay, let me get some grit.
Yeah.
I think not that every shot can be beautiful through an entire film,
No.
but it just was like, okay, beautiful people, beautiful
I
scenery. I was
that's
like, I'm getting
That's
sick.
what I'm saying about the same thing with you about the commercial. Everybody she walked past on the street in the first 20 minutes is gorgeous.
Yeah,
Old, young, men, women, everybody is gorgeous and coiffed and looks great wearing the best clothes. I'm like, wait a second, So
yeah. So it was just a lot, and then like, what are we doing here? And then it just was like, it was like City of the Gods is like opulence. Just everything was just so sexy, so beautiful. I'm just gonna lounge here and look good, and then
yeah.
y'all will adore me. It just everything was like ancient Greece, with just opulence, and then when are we gonna get some grit and some ugly? And then
Mhm.
then you find out, oh, there's some incest going on. There's a little bit of it just goes on a wild thing, and I was like wanting to like throw my French fries at you, Anthony, but like, what the fuck are we watching? I was
Like, are
like,
they gonna
when are we gonna get into something? Because right now, okay, this is beautiful, but I need substance. I
Yeah,
need something else.
yeah,
I need
yeah.
some grit.
I was about to throw
And
my
then it
entire
shifted
popcorn
gears.
bucket at you and say, "Where's the substance?" Yeah,
Yeah, and then it grabs you, and
it grabs
yeah,
you quicker.
grab me quicker. There's a scene where it's recommended because she's so beautiful. Why don't you become an actress? And so she goes to meet with this acting coach, and then that acting coach, that character is just amazing. And then there's going to be
Saw
many
it.
other actor characters that will grab your attention as y'all watch this. For me, it was her, Greta Cool, who's this old diva. Uh,
A little
the
bitter.
professor, the professor that she actually goes to school with. I think that's probably Anthony's favorite character. My heart as well. Like that's the soul of the film. Her
Mhm.
relationship with the professor. But just then it grabs hold, and yeah, then you're on this journey. So let's just talk about our favorite parts and favorite characters within this, and or least favorites as well, Anthony.
Yeah. Well, since you brought it up, my favorite character, two characters, and one I can't talk about too much, but is the professor and the Pope, or not Pope, excuse me, the priest at the finale. Both of those men represent everything that the film is talking about, and I can't get too deep because of the priest and what he's doing representing. But and I was like, yeah, finally we got here. Only have about 35 more minutes in the movie, but um, I love that all of the men her age and a little older are toys. Anyone who is toys for her, and not emotional toys. Not, she has sex with very few people in her life, by the way. Unless they just left some out,
Yeah, I wanted
She's
to ask about that because I'm slightly confused in different elements because of the way they tell the story
yeah,
of how
I
Paolo
think
does it. Because like you see that they're intended, then you don't see it, but then you see
yeah.
somebody putting on their shirt. Am I frameworking?
No,
Does he want me to think for myself? So I was
I
curious
think I
about
think
that as
she
well.
did have I know the scene you're talking about. They had sex for sure. But I think for her the turn on was like fishing. You reel them in. I caught it. Nah, I'm gonna throw you back so you can live. For her, that's the get. The get is the turn on. And walking through the streets, and just men, women, old, young, just dropping at the sight of her. Um, but I think she's very choosy, and why I love the characters of the professor and the priest. If you notice, and I don't, in different ways, but she finally meets, and you can see it on her face, the joy in meeting someone who sees her beauty but recognizes her for her intellect and her place and helps her try to find her place in the world. Especially the priest represents a lot of that. And I thought that was brilliant. Watching her, even the young man she grew up with, I can't remember the character's name, um, who she in a weird way has an emotional threesome with him and her brother.
Sandrino.
Yeah. I thought, I mean, that's fine, and that was all really well handled. But her face, I credit the actress who plays Parthenope. Her face is so playful and just kind of, yeah, I've got you. I know I can have you anytime I want, with all the men in her life until the professor and the priest. And that gives her most joy. And I'm not saying anything. I just mean emotionally, but sexual joy too. Like, she is turned on, like, they see me from my mind. They're engaging my mind and my place in this world. And I thought that was wonderful. I really dug that. That's why those are my two favorite characters. Very quickly before I lose my thought,
No worries.
the incest thing. Um, it's there, and what's strange is in a lot of Italian films and some French ones, there's a lot of incest. Um, yeah, don't raise your kids there. But just kidding. But I think it was handled in this film. I don't want to get too much into it, but her brother is troubled. And I think in this film, they have the connection from the beginning. You missed the very opening shot. When the mother is lying there pregnant with Parthenope, the brother comes in. He's a little boy at this time. And you saw him blowing all the way through. He always blows on people. He blows on his mother's belly. And there's that instant calming connection with him and his unborn sister, Parthenope. And I think they have that connection. And as he gets more troubled, seeing that she is this beauty that's going to give herself over, quote unquote, to everything and everyone, in his eyes. I think she becomes comfort for him. And I don't think it's about, oh, he's hot, I want to bang my brother. I think it's about, he is needy and I will give him the kisses and the touching. I think it's ambiguous if they ever consummated this incest, but uh, yeah, I don't know. I found that quite beautiful. I wish they would have gotten into the emotion of that more. That was one issue I had.
Yeah. There's a different way that I think love we know outside of our country is represented and shown.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Not that it makes it right or wrong or
No,
whatever.
no.
In a lot of ways, I think we're all conditioned now, and yeah, and for many reasons, but it's just different. It's just different.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's part. I definitely think it will be what's going to be a lot of the conversation when this film drops and everybody sees it.
And it
But I
shouldn't be.
also think, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, and it shouldn't be that big of a conversation
Yeah.
because it's not, it's like I said, it's ambiguous. They should have gotten into it more. And it's not about, ooh, isn't that taboo hot, brother and sister? That's not what it is at all. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think to me, the most important thing about this, and I want to do negatives before we really get into the positives about
Oh,
it, is I think this film speaks a lot to female empowerment,
yeah, yeah.
more than I thought it was going to be. And I digged it, and I'm curious, and I'll ask the question later to you, Anthony, but I think that should be a driving focus when I know for myself when I recommend the film to people, uh, young women out there knowing yourself in your in every way and how you want to move forward with life. I think there's lessons to be learned with Parthenope.
She
But
is in control through this whole film. She
exactly,
is
which is
complete.
makes it so awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's get to negatives, because
Okay.
and I don't think there's very many, but there's also, we know there's some, because again, when I first started this, the first 25 minutes, I'm like, what's going on here? Let me know yours, Anthony.
Yeah. First 45 minutes, I'm like, hey, excuse me. Well, this is going to be a shock. Gary Oldman
Oh
is a
yeah.
big negative in this movie.
Wow. I thought it
Not
was
because of,
decent. Okay.
not because of the great Gary Oldman, because the great Gary Oldman is wasted. His role is important. Excuse me. I understand. I'm a smart fella. I know the purpose of his role. But when he's introduced, he only has what, 2 scenes of weight, and then he's in the background in a few. Oh, sorry. Kick me out. Uh, his first, when he first, this isn't a spoiler. They first meet, he takes her to lunch. He's a drunk author. He's an alcoholic author. And he's already drunk. He's been drunk all day. They have lunch. He drinks more. She helps him to his room. He sits by the window. Mind you, this is in like less than 5 minutes of being introduced to the guy. And he sits in his window, tears running down his eyes, tells this profound, wanting to be moving story of loss and life. And I'm like, well, we're not invested in this guy. I can't get into this dialogue. His first monologue with her seems like a final monologue of a character we've been following through an entire film. And it just didn't hit for me. I mean, Ullman's fine. He's given it his all. But I just think that character, unless there was some more on the cutting room floor, we needed baby steps to get up to that. Now, except I will end with saying he has a great line. I think we mentioned it in the trailer when she asks if she can walk with him. And he says, no, I don't want to steal one more minute of your youth. I thought that was beautiful. And that's basically his final line in the film. Yeah, I just thought, come on, you got Oldman, write some stuff. I don't know. It
So
felt
just a waste of Oldman for you.
Yeah, it felt undercooked to me.
So I hear that. So anything else? So other than the waste of Oldman, like storyline wise,
Yeah.
would you? I think we agree that the beauty of the opening, those still art, is just so very beautiful, but it didn't have substance. Or maybe that was. I'm also thinking as I look back at it, that was its intention. Let's look at the beauty of youth, because that's they hit on that quite a bit. Like, it's wasted on the young. They get to do all this, and then the grit of the world happens.
I agree, and that's what it was. It was a setup. Exactly, well said. That's exactly it. But after 25 minutes, all right, we got it, Pablo.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Pablo, let's go. Yeah, that was a big negative. And I remember a few people told me it looks like a fragrance ad, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
don't be afraid of great cinematography. And after about 10 minutes, I'm like, all right, I see it. I'm waiting for Johnny Depp to come strolling by on a horse or something,
Which is crazy. Like, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like, it was, it felt like such an ad at every, it just ran long, which is crazy because other filmmakers do that, but it really was that in so many ways. Is that just us or what?
No, it took, no, it took too long. Yeah. Another negative I have, and it's the biggest one, and it's what hurt. I was quote unquote thumbs down on this movie until what did I say, an hour and 15 minutes in, when it really started. But that whole time, all the themes that we have talked about, everything it's doing, the scenes seemed disjointed. And I told you this after the screening. It seemed like, even though he's the one that wrote the script alone, but it seemed like there was a few writers in a room spitballing ideas, and then they said, "All right, let's just shoot these. How do you want to put it together? Just throw it up." And then, well, shouldn't we say more about the father and the mother? Nah. They set up the
Yeah, they
father.
kind of just disappeared, other than, oh, they broke down because of a character passing away.
Yeah, and then the mother all of a sudden turns on her when we've never seen them interact at all in the entire film.
That was harsh.
I won't say why she turned on her, but um, yeah, sins of the father slash mother. When Parthenope says goodbye to her childhood love, she says the exact same thing to him, and I think it's a coping mechanism, and I think that scene, it's just kind of hitting me right now. That's why I have to say it. Where he says goodbye to her and she says that to him. I think that's her. She's scared now. He's always there. He's always in the background. He's always at arm's length, and he's always there to represent their youth and what they've lived, and the freeness of their life. And he's leaving. He's out. He's gone. He's going to go be an adult now. And I think that scared her. And I think that's the reason she reacted like that to him.
Mm.
So in the middle of all that bad stuff, there's that good moment, because it just hit me. But yeah, no, I just thought it felt thrown together. And right when they'd settle on something, boop, we're off to this, we're off to that. And yeah, I was disliking it for quite a while. I wasn't hating it or anything, but I was just saying to myself, this isn't working at all.
I completely agree, and I don't have anything else to add to that. I'm with you on that. Although I jumped on a little bit earlier, like I said, with the casting coach. Well, not casting, but the acting coach. But it still felt disjointed, like you said. And
that's
then
a good scene, though.
And then it started working, and then I'm like, okay, this character was great. This character, and then I'm like, okay, I'm with a tortured soul and I'm watching her start to figure out her life.
Yep.
And then I could relate with that. And then once I was relating to the character, I was on board. And
yeah.
That's she's going to make mistakes. She's going to get some wins. So,
yeah. Does she? No, that's great when she starts to figure it out. And again, I don't want to say too much, but she's already there. She's not the top. She's like 3 steps away from the top of the I figured this all out staircase.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 steps away. And then she meets the priest guy. And you think she's going to take some steps backwards in her progress. Nope. He helps, boop, get her to the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
And I just wish we could talk in depth about that sequence so much, because it's wonderful, but I can't. So
we won't spoil. We can walk around it, but we'll not
dancing
spoil
around it every time I bring him up. Yeah.
So all right. So I know that's probably one of your favorite scenes. So let's talk about from our favorite parts of the film. Like I said, the when people see the acting coach scene, just so interesting. Greta Cool, our singer, that's on this yacht, who just tells it like it is of her feelings of Naples. That just got me rolling. There's a lot of great moments and just beautiful. Again, shout out to Paolo Sorrentino. He knows how to shoot a film. It looked like a commercial, but he gives us that opulence, but then it gets the grit, but then he goes back to it. And this motherfucker can shoot a scene like so beautiful, so inspiring, from this area to this area to this area in these different chapters of life. Those are a lot of my favorite parts of this film. There's a scene that I want to point out that I'm sure is going to be controversial, like the incest, real quick. That also I've seen a lot of when I was in the military and serving over there, is live sex shows. But this took the live sex show to a whole nother extreme. I'm not going to spoil how it fits into this, but they took that concept into something wholly different and very weird and wild in a way. What do you think about that?
Look, I don't get weirded out in movies anymore. That was weird. That was weird because it is a live sex
pushing the butt a little bit.
Yeah, right. It is a live sex show, but it's forgive the pun, it's 2 families coming together to
unite the family.
Unite the families. Yeah, it's a strange scene. It's not played for eroticism, and if it was, it's too weird to
Y'all
get.
got some wild kinks out there, people. No
Yeah,
shame,
right.
but y'all got
Yeah,
some kinks out there.
yeah. I'm no. I lost the joke. I can't. But choir boy. I was trying to say I'm no choir boy, but that was crazy. Yeah, yeah, it's a weird scene. You can't really talk too
I
much
think
about.
they made it fit. Why did I bring it up? I think it fits because they're trying to do all these different parts that to me it just reminded me of the beauty of Italy. It's beauty as well as its ugliness. Uh,
Yeah, that's
and whether how
that's
you feel
all
about
in the
sex
same
and all of
scene.
that
Yeah.
to for the people watching, it's we all came here. To me, it's a part of it, and the way they intersected that with families because we know Italian families, and then relationships and
Chameleon.
all that.
Yeah.
And I thought they did that very well
No, they
uh,
did.
to make
Yeah.
that fit with just these different parts of how Italy in Naples is.
And it's in a pool hall? Come on, man.
What are some of your favorite stuff in this film?
Ah, one of my favorite things is in that scene. When and it's funny because the camera, while this young couple is having sex, trying to impregnate the woman, and everybody's watching, all of the men are sweaty and smoking and licking their lips, and the women. There's one woman who looks aroused, but the rest are annoyed and then one of these sweaty, lecherous guys looks over at Parthenope and like, and she just gives him this and just turns back to
And
watching her.
covers up a little bit. I think
Yeah.
yeah.
And oh yeah, she puts her skirt. Uh but the guy she is with who took her there, I guess he's part of the family.
And I
It's
think a
never
mafia
really
boss,
clear.
if I'm not mistaken. Like
Yeah, he's
he's really family. Like
yeah, when he comes through
the unofficial mayor of Naples.
yeah,
You know?
Cosa Nostra. He I like how the director pulled the rug out from under us on that guy. Because for a
Yes.
minute, even though he's part of watching this thing, you're like, I think he's really enamored. And this isn't a spoiler. He has a they have sex. There's one. She had sex with him. And he's shaking. And she says, "Are you cold?" And he says, "No, I'm emotional." And you're like, "Oh, this guy's really connecting with her." And this isn't a spoiler because but no, he's not. um and that makes her connect with him. And then of course he splits. And I think that is part of the reason, she let her guard down this one time because she was let herself be intoxicated by her surroundings and the vision that she sees in front of her, like all the men are to her. And look what happened. So is after that, we don't see her have sex with anybody. And then she really starts trying to kick into working her life out. I like that a lot. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic.
Um yeah. The positives is just I think the actress is brilliant. Um
Uh,
well, you know what? You're right. She's the beauty that they need her to be. She's
yeah.
smart where it needs, but I don't. You know what? They didn't give her enough to play with. I think, or they just it wasn't. I don't think there was those parts of the film. Maybe was it? Help me out. So what was your
I think I'm glad you said that because I think you're right. For the first however long,
Yeah.
they didn't give her enough to play because I take back my little. I take it back because in the end, in the finale, the final roundup, she's very good with the professor and with the professor's son. That moved me. And I won't get into that, but her and the way they reacted, the way once she walks into that room, I was on the verge of tears until she walked out of the room. And it's not about anything sad. It's about the beauty of seeing the beauty inside someone. And it's just profoundly moving to me that moment. That's the number one moment that stays with me.
Yeah.
but no, you're right. They didn't give her enough to work with for a very long time, and it's almost maybe that's purposeful because once she adults, um, she's better. She's better
Yeah.
every way.
That's why I can't. I think there's reason for it because I also think you can't expect her to be different when she's younger. You want to see that inexperience. You want to see that youthfulness, and so that's why it is drawn out. And then, as you said, at the end, we're like, oh my god, full circle
Yeah.
moment here and everything. And then when she, without spoiling, at the end, visits again where she grew up. It's this tortured reality of a young soul as we get older through life. All those bullet points that it kind of emphasized throughout about life and anthropology, seeing the world and how there's so many like cool little layers that if you really dig in, somebody smarter than me, I'm sure will catch that. But I caught a little bit. It's there, and we see it develop throughout the film.
But my big question to you is, what is anthropology? That
Scene.
that was great. You know what else I loved?
Yeah.
What are you thinking about?
Yes.
Everybody. And if you notice, she never answered anybody.
No.
When did she answer somebody? The priest.
Yeah.
It's the end of his time in the film. He asks her, and she responds.
And you know
I
what? That's the
don't
one
remember
question she
her.
didn't have a direct, quick answer for. Everything else she
No.
has an answer for,
And
which
then
is so
he tells
beautiful.
her what she's thinking. Yeah.
Exactly.
And the look on her face, holy shit, he's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm thinking right now. Yeah.
Why would you, to close to as we get into it, because I think we've said a lot on this film. Why would you recommend this film? What made this film so great for you? I know we've talked, the negatives, the positives,
Yeah.
but overall, who would you say this film is for, and who would you recommend this film to?
This
Big
I
one.
I
Kind
don't
of
want
differentiate how we do other reviews now.
please in the comments don't put look, I like him, but he's really pretentious. But look, this film, what I love about this one is the depth of it, the ideas of it, and the exploration of said ideas. This film is for people who are patient moviegoers, who miss the uh, European films of the 60s and 70s and maybe some of the 80s. Just explore honest adult explorations, sometime done with flights of fancy, if you will, uh, of human emotions, sensuality, love, being, everything. Excuse me. And it's in this. And the actress, Stephanie, I can never remember her last name, who played her older. She's been in a lot of those. She was in some Bertolucci films. She was in Dario Argento, and I think maybe her casting was a nice nod to the type of film he was trying to make here. And you see a lot of Bertolucci and Fellini in it, a little Fellini, a lot of Bertolucci. So I think film goers who like that kind of thing are going to respond well to this. I'm hoping everybody likes it quicker than I started liking it, but I liked it ultimately. I it I think it has a potential to be an art house hit because we don't get enough of those these days. I don't know how well it's going to do, but I think for an adventurous and patient viewer, just relax, maybe meditate a little bit and go see this. I think you'll be taken in by the visuals, and then the story hopefully will creep into them. And I hope that's the people it plays to. I hope it plays to everybody, but it won't. But I like that. I like niche movies.
I agree. I agree with all of those sentiments. I echo all of that. I hope it gets its viewership, and gets the message out to the people that it's trying to reach. And it makes me interested, like you said, with Paolo Sorrentino, who you're a fan of. It would kind of drove you to it. I definitely want to check out his work. But I think also for me, I want to recommend this to to women and men, young adults, male and female, um, because of the lessons that you can learn about life and also empowering yourself. And as we said earlier, I think this film shows a lot of female empowerment.
Oh yeah, it
I
does.
think some people, some other women will might, or some people might, oh, it's just pretty people, blah blah blah. They know their power or whatever. But there's being beautiful or whatever, but there's also empowering yourself with that, and or even it's not also just about beauty. You know what I'm saying? She recognizes that, but she knows she's much more than that, which is why I don't think you have to be beautiful or whatever. Just it's empowering yourself with the talents that you know you have, and
Right.
and moving forward with life and through life, making wrong decisions, making right decisions, and how you can, um, just chart your own journey. And I think this is a beautiful depiction of life and the different nuances that can occur in it. I thought that was what I drew from this, and the beauty of the Mediterranean. It makes me want to go back and oh my god, I miss all these sights and sounds, and it spoke to me and reminded me of things that I missed and love.
Well said, by
But
the way.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, the empowerment. Well said. Yeah, lest anybody think anything different. Everything you said, she is in complete control at all times. When she teeters on not being in control, she gets it back and then pisses off her would-be suitor, the helicopter guy.
yeah,
Uh, he didn't want a smart woman, and that's another thing it shows. You got to hold your ground in this male-dominated world. And you're going to piss off a lot of them because they want you to conform, they want you to be subservient, they want you to be submissive to them. Don't
yeah.
don't. You're going
You
to
know what I'm
piss
saying?
people off.
Where have we seen? There's not too many other films that we see such female characters through their entire arc go through such a journey.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other movies that give us that full arc of a woman and how she makes it through life. You know.
I can think of a few Bertolucci movies like that.
So yeah, let's get some recommendations and Sorrentino to help close this out too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about beauty, inner and outer, Paolo Sorrentino's The Great Beauty is probably his best film. It's a beautiful film. I hate to keep saying that word. It's amazing. Excuse me. And The Hand of God, which is on Netflix right now, I think. Another excellent film. Just he's made like seven. Go to his filmography. You won't be disappointed at all. But A Great Beauty is just his finest hour. Youth with Michael Caine and Harvey Keitel. Beautiful movie. Beautiful movie about how beautiful. I keep saying that, but it's true. This guy makes beautiful films about you're old now and trying to recapture the not recapture your youth, but hang on to the memories of your youth. Don't look at them wistfully. Look at them as that was my happy time young. I'm going to try this to make this my happy time old. It's a great film. Youth.
Okay.
Probably his most accessible because of Michael Caine and Harvey Keitel. But yeah, it's fantastic.
So it feels like he really wants to say a lot about that. Like
He does.
cherish your youth.
Yeah, and I like filmmakers that as long as you don't do the exact same thing every time out, but you have a running theme and you can find it in most of their work. And I think you're right. I think especially now, this is his running theme. Yeah, so seek him out, folks. A Great Beauty, Youth, and the other stuff.
All right. Parthenope, y'all. Again, from A24, arriving in theaters February 7th. Before we go, again, I'm always honored to have my pal, Anthony Francis from the Movie Review, Screen Comment, and Film Threats. I'm sure you're going to have a written review posted up soon. How can people check that out and everything else from the great mind of Anthony Francis, sir?
Well, just send me money order for $15 and I will. No. Themoviereview.com, screencomment.com, on X, not for very much longer probably. Anthony Screen C1, the number 1, and then moviereview.com at Instagram.
There you go. You gonna join us in the blue sky?
I am. I just
Yeah,
I'm
bro,
dragging
I'm with
it.
you.
Yeah.
I have one up there. I'm barely on there, but yeah, I'm gonna probably drop these orange people and Musk bullshit. Anyway, we're not gonna get politics right now.
Yeah,
Trying to
right.
escape from that.
The
That is
viewers
the
are like,
amazing.
what happened?
That is the amazing Anthony Francis. Please go check him out. Just a great pal. Go check out his written reviews. Everything on the links that'll be in the description below. But let us know what you think about Parthenope. Is this the 2025 female empowerment film of the year? Although it's only in February.
I was gonna say so far.
So far, I think it has a message. I hope it gets you. I hope you give it the time. Like we said, it might drag a little bit, or if you love just music, fashion commercials, you're gonna definitely get that to the max, and then you're gonna get some grit, some story, and it delivers. I think when it finally gets there, it delivers. But I want to talk about it. Hit us up in the comments below. That's Anthony
Don't
Francis.
be
I'm Creepy.
afraid. Don't be afraid. Go see it.
There you go. Nerds rule the world. What's going on, y'all? Your boy Creepy and my man Anthony Francis from Movie Review, Screen Crime, and Film Threat. We just got out of Landmark E Street, as you see behind us, out of the screening for, oh my God, Parthenope. We just got out of Parthenope. Initial thoughts coming out. My man Anthony Francis, first time on here. What do you think?
Really good film, Fellini-esque, sloppy first hour, excellent, near brilliant final act.
I would agree,
think?
but I thought it was weird at the front end, but then there's a certain scene for me that a little bit more than an hour in before Anthony. But once I was on that ride, I was all the way in. Just very beautiful film. It felt like a full-length music. I mean, like perfume commercial. Shouts to Saint Laurent, because I think they're one of the sponsors that I think we saw.
They produced it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
beautiful film. We're gonna have a full review.
This is real cinema from even the parts that don't work.
All right, there you go.
Real cinema.
Nerds Rule the World. Look for the review.